Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is another great day to discuss other people's excellence. I am the unforgettable one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll, and I'm just a guy that likes daydreaming at work. Okay, I mean, come on now. Combine weekend? Combine weekend has officially ended. We are literally in peak mock draft season. When we're talking about the combine, when these dudes have already finished running 40 times and doing the vert and doing the three cone and all the drills, this it's mock draft season, baby. This is what we're here for. This is what we live for. So here we go. Mock draft post combine. Again, for those of y'all who are new, we the way we do this is we want to hit every major step of the process so you can see how and why these guys fall up and down the board because some of y'all be confused. It's like, yo, wait a minute. We were talking about dude all year. Now he a third round pick. Or where'd this guy come from? I ain't never heard of dude. Now he a top five pick. What's going on? This is why we do this because we saw it once again. Some dude showed out at the combine and their stock rose. There are guys that we're going to see are going to fall just because they didn't even compete um in the combine. So as of right now, they might fall because other guys not only did everything at the combine but killed it, and I mean killed it at the combine. There's some dudes that fell a little bit because they were talking a little bit too much before the combine. They didn't do what they said they were going to do. But this is it. This is literally we've seen this time and time again. The combine is the major turning point of draft season. You show up at the combine and you put on a show, you can absolutely skyrocket your status. You don't compete or you perform terribly at the combine, you can really hurt yourself. And again, for people that don't get why, because I was one of those people like, yo, people running in shorts and t-shirts shouldn't matter. The game should matter. We got to remember, I understand teams have scouts. I understand teams have a GM. They have a whole department dedicated to this, but they can't watch every single player from every single game on every single team. That's impossible. For a lot of these guys, these are the first time they get to really see these dudes. And so when you see these guys in person, all in the same place, competing against each other and showcasing their athletic traits that you just can't coach, that you just can't teach, you see what happens. So you might know about a guy and say, "Hey, I've been watching a couple games. He's on my radar." Da da da. But then he runs like a 4.3, and it's like, "Oh man, now I gotta really dive into the tape." Or even better, I've never heard of this guy, or it's a guy I wanted to watch tape on and wanted to dive more in, and he does something crazy in the draft. Now he's a priority. I gotta go back and watch the tape and see if it translates onto the field. Because some dudes, it doesn't, right? Some dudes, they show out and you say, "Oh my God, this is amazing." Then you watch the tape and say, "Well, wait a minute. All this stuff that you're showing me today, it didn't. Why is it not translating on Saturdays? And will it not translate on Sundays?" You know what I mean? Some people you can see, like, all right, they're not good test takers. I've seen enough tape of this dude to know that he doesn't do well in these type of drills. But some of the stuff on tape, when you line up in between those lines on Saturdays, he puts in work, and I believe that he will still put in work on Sundays. So again, the combine is the timeline splitter. It really is. It is the matrix in all this. You perform at the combine, we've seen it before. Your stock can either skyrocket or free fall, depending on how it goes. So we're gonna go ahead and do this mock draft so you guys can see who made themselves some money and who hurt their wallets. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to do another Miles Garrett trade. This time I want to do it with, where are they? Oh, they should be at the bottom, duh. The Philadelphia Eagles. We have been hearing, you know, all this time, there's been a lot of rumors of, Howie Roseman's thinking about swinging for the fences and going and getting Myles Garrett, and it might offset a lot of the guys that they might lose in free agency and da 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 da. And Howie Roseman type person to do it. And I love that. I love the idea of that. I love the idea of we won the Super Bowl, but we're not going to sit on our laurels. We're going to continue to get better, continue to try to do what we need to do to repeat because we have a good team, right? And it's not guaranteed that we're going to get back here. We got here a couple years ago. We fell just short. We got back, finished the deal. We won our own dynasty, right? Like, remember, this is only the Eagles' second Super Bowl, and it's all happened within the last couple of years. It's second Super Bowl win, I should say, and it's all happened within the last couple of years. They're not a team that's used to this. They want to be a team that's used to this. So I like the idea of being aggressive, not being satisfied, and saying, no, 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 we're trying to put foots on necks. We want all the rings. I love it. For Browns fans, you're probably thinking, yo, man, I'm tired of seeing these mock drafts once we trade Miles Garrett. The GM already said that we're not trading him. Why y'all doing this to us? You are right. You're fair. Maybe in the next one, I won't do that. But it does make a lot of sense for them to do it. They're cap strapped. This is a move that could very much help them. Um, and if they do this as well as maybe trade some of their corners, and we'll get into that a little bit later, I do think it's something we have to at least explore. And who knows, if we get a resolution soon, free agency is coming up. That's the next, major part of this, right? If free agency comes and goes and there's no Miles Garrett trade, then we can assume at that point they're probably not going to trade him, and then we can, not do those mock trades anymore. Um, by the way, it's smart for them to say we're not going to trade him because if you agree that you're going to trade him, you kind of drive down the price. Speaking of price, he's obviously a superstar, but he is about to be 30, right? I don't think he's quite 30 yet, but I think he's about to be 30. So I'm not sure how much draft capital it's going to take. I do think it's going to take two firsts as well, at least. So I just did a first this year, which is the 32nd pick. 96 was a third round pick, and then a first next year. I feel like that's pretty good compensation. If you want to add a little bit more, fine, but it's not really going to affect this mock. Um, because if there's any more, it would probably be another pick next year. So maybe a first and third this year and a first and third next year. Sure. Um, Again, if you want to add some, cool, but it's not going to affect this mock, obviously. Uh, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that trade, and then we are going to go ahead and start the draft. Okay, so with the first pick, one of the people that did well for themselves, even though they didn't necessarily compete, was Cam Ward. From everything that we're hearing, he killed it in interviews. He was killing it on the whiteboard. John Gruden would be proud. Um, the Titans specifically, they said were enamored with him when they talked to him. Um, and they weren't the only one. There was a lot of teams that came out very impressed with Cam Ward when they talked to him throughout the process. Again, he didn't do any of the physical things, but he did all the interviews and things of that nature. So, with that being said, I think Cam Ward will be the number one pick in the draft. The question is Tennessee actually going to draft him, or are they bigging up Cam Ward so that somebody is more enticed to trade up and get him? And in this mock, I think I am going to go ahead and do it. I think I'm going to have the uh the Giants move up from 3-1 to go get Cam Ward. It's not going to cost them too much. Again, I still believe this is not the greatest draft class in the world for quarterbacks, so I'm not gonna do anything insane in terms of draft capital. Plus, it's a short trade, 3-1. But normally, you would still get something insane for the number one pick in the draft. Again, same thing for the Myles Garrett trade. This from 1 to 3, give them 65, and then give them your first next year. Again, if you want to add something else next year. Sure, it's not going to affect the mock, but I'm going to go ahead and put this trade through. Again, I don't think that they should necessarily do this, but again, this is kind of like a think of it as like an overreaction mock to what we saw at the combine. And like I said last time, the Giants are in a position where if you're Dayball, if you're Joe Sheen, you might have to do something like this to save your job. We've been hearing rumors that maybe Aaron Rodgers will want to stay in New York and just go to the Giants, and that makes a lot of sense. I think if you're the Giants, you're just, I don't think it makes sense for the Giants to do it because, again, they technically have to win anyway next year to save their job. And so putting your faith in a rookie quarterback is risky, but at least if you don't win, like I said last week or last time we did this, you could at least have the argument of, hold on, we just drafted our guy. You stuck us with Daniel Jones this whole time. We even extended him because you wanted to extend him. We drafted our guy. Give us at least another year to see if we could get something out of him in year two. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Cam Ward to the Giants, and they got their guy for the future. Okay, at number two, I think I'm go. I think you have to do Abdul Carter here for the Browns. You just traded Myles Garrett. You go ahead and take Abdul Carter. And then the Titans, it's interesting. Do they go with Shador here? Do they take Travis? They said they want a generational talent. Is that Shador? Is that Travis? I'm not sure. I've been getting a lot of hate for people from the comments that not a hate, I shouldn't say hate, but people have said in the comment section I'm being too critical of Travis Hunter. He is a generational talent. Again, I'm not saying I disagree with that. What I'm saying is the way the draft works, you have to be a first ballot Hall of Fame type of corner to be taken in the top three. I don't know if he's that. You have to be a first ballot Hall of Famer wide receiver to be taken in the top three. I don't know if he's that. I'm not saying he's not. I just said I don't know if he's that. And I think he wants to play both, which kind of devalues what he can be at both positions. So, like I said, if you're looking at Travis Hunter, if he wants to play both, you're really drafting him not based on the fact that he can be an all pro at both, because I think that's unrealistic to ask him to do that. But you obviously want him to be good at both, which is fine. And I think he can be that. And you're hoping he's good at both so that that drives consumers to your team. Again, is that worth a top three pick? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. For the Titans, I guess it makes sense because they're a team that needs people in attendance. They got a new stadium coming up. You traded back, you got some draft capital. So I guess Travis Hunter here at three makes sense for the Titans to go ahead and do that. Okay. Uh, this is, by the way, I meant to say, I usually do these live, and this is a live mock draft. Going into every draft, I usually have maybe two to four moves in my head that I, kind of want to do, and then the rest is live. I really wanted to take notes this time, not for the full thing, and but I took way more notes this time because it's a combine mock, and I want to really make sure I'm showcasing the players that really made some movement during the combine. So I believe. What did I want to do for the Patriots? Uh, okay, the Patriots, I still, oh, this is what I wanted to do. A guy that really showcased himself was Armand Mambu. Will Campbell came in a little bit undersized in terms of the arm length. We knew that was going to be a thing. But Armand Membu put on a show to the point where maybe he could be tackle one. Um, Especially if you're still not sure whether or not you like Will Campbell at tackle or at guard. Armand Membu still gives you that tackle guard flexibility, but because he's more of the size that you're looking for, and he just showcased his freakishly athletic traits. Again, for those of you who are new, the way we kind of do this is if the draft were to be this Thursday, right? So combine was this weekend. If the draft were to happen the following Thursday, how would this go? Will Campbell didn't work out, only did the measurables. Or did he work out? I can't remember. I think he did work out. I'm sorry. He worked out. He did some of the workouts. Measurables are what they were, but Armand Membu put on a show. And when I say a show, I mean historical numbers. So I want to give him his props. He could be now in line for tackle one. I'm being very serious about that. So we're gonna go ahead and take Armand Membu here at four and not Will Campbell. Okay. Uh, and then for the Jags, they could also take Will Campbell. Um, and I think I might have them take Will Campbell here, just off the strength of that. Yeah, because I didn't want Will Campbell to fall too far. I just wanted to showcase the fact that Membu might be in the running for tackle one. So we'll go ahead and take Will Campbell here at five. Okay, let me just mark some of this off so I don't get confused. Boom. Okay, here's the next major development in the top 10. I really just did like a top 10 and then a couple of different notes for the first round, a couple notes for the second round, stuff like that. Matthew Golden might have just made himself wide receiver one. Tedero McMillan did not test, right? Matthew Golden again ran a 4.29. Matthew Golden killed it at the combine. Matthew Golden was already considered maybe the best route runner in the class. Matthew Golden looked good. He was already getting first round buzz. Matthew Golden was already, again, was kind of creeping up into that wide receiver two range. I don't la I never list Travis Hunter as a wide receiver. I just list him as a weapon or an athlete. So when I think of wide receivers, I'm literally talking about strictly the wide receivers. But it was T-Mac one, and then whoever you wanted at two, whether that was Ibuka, whether that was Luther Burden, stuff like that. But I think Matthew Golden with that performance, I think absolutely solidified himself as wide receiver two. But for the sake of this, I'm gonna say he's wide receiver one. We were already starting to see some mocks that had T-Mac falling for whatever reason, maybe just an out of sight, out of mind type of thing. But again, when you don't compete and somebody else comes in and kills it, I'm trying to tell you things like that matter. And he's a separator. He's a great route runner, and he has got legit 4.3 speed now. Come on. And I'm also looking like this. I talked about Aaron Rodgers before, right? I could see him going to a place like uh Vegas Raiders because I know some of you guys are thinking, well, Shador's still on the board. Why wouldn't the Raiders take him? They were in line from what we were hearing from Matthew Stafford. So maybe they wanted a veteran presence. They have a really good O-line. Devontae Adams already is familiar with them. If he and Aaron Rodgers want to do one more time, the Raiders are a good spot, right? So then we'd have Brock Bowers, they would have Devontae Adams, they would have Aaron Rodgers, and now Matthew Golden. I love that. I love it a lot. I love it a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. So there we go. Matthew Golden at six to the Raiders as the new wide receiver one. So we have a new tackle one. We have a new wide receiver one. Um, just based on again. I believe Will Campbell only did the the best bench press. My God, I believe that's what he did, and just did the measurables. So again, we're seeing guys not really test, and then other guys come in and kill it, and then the guy that was kind of already in that pole position kind of get lapped because we've seen it time and time again. These NFL scouts and GMs, they take the combine seriously, and so here we go. All right, with the Jets, I have a trade. 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 This is probably gonna cost them from 7 to 12. I think it'll probably cost them 76 and maybe a second next year, or maybe a third next year, actually. Yeah, again, it doesn't really matter. That doesn't affect this mock that much. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna have the Dallas Cowboys trade up and get Tedero and McMillan. Again, and I didn't mean to do it this way, but it kind of worked out like that, where the new guy and then the incumbent back to back like that. Um, One of the themes I kind of thought would be fun is the entire NFC East being aggressive. So we have Philly trade for Miles Garrett, we have the Giants move up for Cam, and we have the Cowboys move up for T-Mac. Washington already traded for Debo. So I kind of like the idea of the entire NFC East making moves. A rising tide lifts all ships, right? The Eagles won the Super Bowl. Washington, who was in the NFC Championship game, they followed suit by trading for Debo. And now all these teams are starting in the NFC East are saying, wait a minute, we can't get left behind. We got to be aggressive. The Cowboy Jerry Jones got ridiculed last year for saying they were going to be aggressive and not doing anything. I kind of like the idea of him seeing T-Mac fall a little bit and saying, let me go up and get him. Let me go get the next star for the Dallas Cowboys and Tedero McMillan. Okay, the Panthers. Normally, in a situation like this, I am tearing my ACL, my MCL, all my CLs, and my Achilles to run up to the podium and get Mason Graham. Normally, that's what I would be doing right now. However, Mason Graham didn't have the greatest combine. Somebody else did. A guy that I was thinking about testing out at this eighth pick already, but after the performance that he put on, I think I really want to do it. James Pierce Jr. again killed it at the combine. And so I want to do that for the Panthers. It makes a lot of sense. They do need edge help. Getting a guy like this on your defensive line is great. And we've talked about before the Panthers are in an interesting situation because even though I would still love Mason Graham, the defensive line class is just phenomenal. All of them performed well at the combine. And they can get another interior lineman later in the draft. I think the edge rushing class is weird because it's really good at the first like five, but after that it's kind of a fall off. And by the time they pick again, they might not get the edge they want. So getting a guy like James Pierce in the first round makes a lot of sense because you can probably still get a really good defensive interior later on, even though they won't be nearly as good as Mason Graham. Okay, the Saints. Uh The Saints are interesting. I want to showcase another guy that kind of killed it this weekend, and that's Shamar Stewart. Uh, a guy that was really, really, really phenomenal. He kind of fits the mold of the type of guys that they want. Um, and so I'm gonna go ahead and take Shamar Stewart for the Saints. Okay, the Bears. The Bears are also interesting because there's a lot of places they can go here. Both running backs are on the board. Mason Graham's still on the board. Maybe they could trade down and get somebody, and I might actually have them do that. Um, Yeah, with Mason Graham still here on the board, maybe somebody decides to go up and get this dude. And maybe the Jets trade back up and get Mason Graham. Now that they have some extra draft capital, maybe that's what they do. It won't cost them much because it's only a two. It's only a two. Yeah, you know what? I actually do like that idea. I actually do like that idea. Let's have the Jets trade back up. It's not gonna cost them much at all. They could get now that they have that second, third round pick, they can just give up 92 to do it. And it might not even cost them that for real. They might just give up 109. Yeah, and the Bears do have a huge gap. So yeah, let's do 109. I like that a lot. Um, yeah, let's do that. And go ahead and get a guy that they would have taken at eight, and that's or seven, and that's Mason Graham to the Jets. Okay. San Francisco, they need some offensive line help. Josh Connolly killed it in the draft. Another guy really, really, really helped his draft stock. And I mean really helped his draft stock. Um, they can do that. Let me see who else is here. Let me just look at again, Shamar Turner really killed it as well. I just want to make sure I'm highlighting some of the guys here. Nick Scorton. No, I think I'm gonna go offensive line here. I think I'm gonna go offensive line and take Josh Connolly. Again, he did a phenomenal job. Really helped his stock. He was a guy that was like a fringe first rounder, but again, he killed it. And that's another thing. In a class that is full of tackles that might have to go to guard, if you're a tackle that can show that you can play tackle, I think that really helped you. And so that's why we're seeing some of these guys that were kind of lower on the tackle range kind of get thrown up because some of the other guys that are good, but you're still not sure if they could actually play tackle. I think they might be pushed down because some of these other dudes are proving that they can play tackle. Um, okay. And then if you are Chicago, I think you got to take this dude, Gray Zabel, man. He killed it. He might be a center, but he was absolutely phenomenal both in the Senior Bowl and at the Combine. You traded down, so you're getting a little bit more value for him. I really like that. You want to protect that. They want to run. They want to get that offensive line going. So we're gonna go ahead and take Gray Zabel, and I'm sure the Dolphins are like, dang, like what the heck just happened? All of these offensive linemen just went right in front of us. Um, And actually, I wanted the Dolphins to take Josh Connolly Jr. I kind of just went off the rails there, but that's okay. Um, I kind of want them to take a running back now. What was it? What running back was it? Mike McDaniels was shown gushing over a running back, and everybody's like, "You got to be kidding me, right?" But they're not going to do it. They value the lower end running back, so I'm not going to have them take a running back right now. If anything, I might have them trade back. Um, and matter of fact, I think I will have them trade back. Question is, how far do I want them to trade back? You know, yeah, let's do that. Have the Bengals trade up And do I want them to take one of the tight ends or do I want them to take offensive line? They should take defense, to be honest with you. But in this particular mock, I'm going to have them keep T. Higgins and Hendrickson. They said they want to try to do it. So I'm going to have them do that. And because of that, that might affect where we go with this. Mike Green did a great job at the draft. His stock dropped a little bit, but not much. Um, and having him with Henderson on the other side might be really, really cool. Scorton as well. I kind of wanted them to draft offensive line only because they need to. Only because they kind of need to. Um, but there's some good offensive linemen here that they can get later on. So I'm gonna go ahead and have them take defense. I'm gonna go ahead and have them take defense. Uh, and Walter Nolan looked phenomenal. He's somebody that makes a lot of sense. Same thing with Kenneth Grant though. Kenneth Grant had a really good matter of fact, yeah, let's do Kenneth Grant. He had a really good combine as well. Okay, the Colts. Uh, all the tight ends are here. All the safeties are here. I know Colts fans are probably tired of seeing the same stuff being mocked to them, but like that's kind of what they need. And Nick Amawari kind of made himself some money. He was phenomenal, and he looks like he could be safety one. So I'm gonna go ahead and take him for the Colts. The Falcons. Let me just make sure I'm not stepping all over my notes again. Because again, I had some notes for this, but I'm still, I'm still most of this is still live. So uh, bear with me a little bit. But yeah, for the Falcons, a lot of good players still on the board. Uh Will Johnson's still on the board. Does that make sense for them to do? I kind of think it does. I don't want Will Johnson to fall that far. I don't want Will Johnson to fall that far. And I'm trying to think who else would need a corner anytime soon. Is there anybody that would trade up? Technically, Tampa Bay, but they're not gonna. I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen it before, but I'm not gonna have the Packers. Maybe I could see the Packers doing that. They need to ship out Alexander anyway. Maybe in this scenario, they've already traded him, and now they want a better corner. So they trade up for Will Johnson. I kind of like that idea. Let's do it. It would probably with a trade this far up, they would definitely have to give up 87. And if you are the Falcons, I think you're okay with that. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take Will Johnson to the Packers. Okay, Cardinals. They need defensive line help bad. So let's see who's still on the board. Walter Nolan's still here. I think that might be the pick. Hold on, let me just see what edges are still here. Some of these guys I do want to make note of. Actually, do want to make note of because they won't go in this round, but I want to make sure I remember them for rounds two and three because they definitely help their stock a lot. Okay. Mike Green's still on the board here. So yeah, let's do Mike Green. Let's do Mike Green. Okay, the Dolphins, they traded back. They still need offensive line help, and I think this is where we will see. I like Josh Simmons a lot, actually. I like Josh Simmons a lot. So let's go ahead and take Josh Simmons. Um, yeah. Seattle is on the board. Now, this might be a reach. However, this is a guy that really, 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 really helped himself today. And that was Jared Wilson. I think he ran the fastest 40. He looked amazing out there. He's a true center. Some of the other, Tyler Booker also played really well. He might be a first rounder now as well. But if Seattle really needs help in the interior line, Jared Wilson played, I mean, he performed phenomenally. He had one of the best days of the entire weekend, if we're being honest. We've seen crazier things, and let's not act like betting on a Georgia player is ever a bad thing, right? So I think I'm gonna do it. Jared Wilson, he would. There's some people that were saying after today that he could be a first rounder, and so here you go, at 18. Uh, Tampa Bay. I think for the sake of argument, I'm going to have a trade back only because I don't think these running backs are going to fall this far, to be honest with you. And so I want to make sure that they are getting drafted. And the guy that's getting drafted is Omarion Hampton. Again, Genty didn't perform. Omarion Hampton did, and he performed phenomenally. And it was already talks about, hold on, don't sleep on Hampton as being RB1 or RB1B or da 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 da. But again, when one guy doesn't perform and the other one shows out, not only performs, but shows out, we've seen it happen before. And so I like that. Marion Hampton to the Chargers, a dynamic running back, a dynamic running back who played at a higher level. We can't keep that, we can't overlook that. Ashton Genty's still good. He's still gonna go in the first round somewhere. But I think Omarion Hampton as RB1 isn't out of the realm of possibilities. So here we go. Okay. I'm actually gonna have another trade here. And I kind of like that. And it was one of those things like I put to do it, but I didn't like do it yet. And so I'm kind of glad it kind of fell the way that it did. We're going to have the Commanders move up um with the Denver Broncos. I really like the idea of them moving up to get a wide receiver. But Brett, they just traded for Debo. I know. I know. That's why I love it. You have a young quarterback on a rookie deal. Go all out. You just were in the NFC Championship. Go all out. Again, especially if the in this scenario, the Eagles just traded for Myles Garrett, you got to hold serve. I really like the idea of them trading up to get a wide receiver, Emeka Ibuka in particular, as a super slot for Jaden Daniels. However, before I pull the trigger on that, I do also believe that doing offensive line might make more sense because if the Eagles already have the number one defensive line in football and they just added Myles Garrett, part of that is get a bunch of weapons so that Jaden Daniels could throw it faster than they can sack him, right? But the other part is making sure your offensive line is good because you do have to face the Eagles at least 2 times a year. If you want to get to the Super Bowl, probably 3 times a year, just like you did this year. The best way to do that is to make sure your offensive line is stout, right? To keep your quarterback upright. And yeah, getting receivers would help, but protecting your quarterback is always going to be more important. And you still have your second round pick. There's some good receivers. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually take an offensive lineman here. Um, and again, some of these offensive linemen did really well. Ursary did really, really well. Um, Donovan Jackson's still here. I like Donovan Jackson. He did really well. Trapillo did really well. Bo did really well. I don't know if they did well enough to be drafted this early. Ursary might have been because he was already kind of a guy that was kind of toggling between first and second rounder. And after a great showing at the combine, he might have solidified himself as a first rounder. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Ursary. And again, he's another guy that like I feel comfortable with him playing tackle, as opposed to some of these other dudes that might be a guard at the next level. They could be versatile, but they might be better at guard. Okay, for the Steelers, it's another guy showed out. Derek Harmon. Um, I meant to take Walter Nolan earlier, so that I meant for it to for Harmon to be the guy here at 21. In this scenario, we probably would not take Harmon over Nolan. So Steeler fans, just bear with me a little bit. Again, like I said, this is like a semi-live, semi-scripted first round. Um, I won in my head. Derek Harmon was going to be one of the guys that fell to us at 21, but it doesn't matter. The point is, I wanted to highlight Derek Harmon. He was a guy, again, kind of like Ursary, was a guy that was, beginning of the process, first rounder, then for some reason falling the second rounder, da 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 da. Again, killed it at the combine. I think he's legit a first rounder now. The defensive interiors, as a whole, killed it as at the combine. So at the end of the day, you know, like I said, I meant to have Walter and Owen go earlier and Derek Harmon be the guy kind of left at 21. But if you're the Steelers, you're ecstatic that he's still there at 21 because he had probably one of, if not the best days of a defensive interior player. But because he was just lower on the list, all that did was kind of push him back into the first round. So whatever. And we can, one of these picks somewhere, just say it's instead of Mike Green, say it's Walter Nolan, if that makes you feel better. Um, but yeah, we're gonna take Derek Harmon here, and I'm gonna be super ecstatic about it. Good player, a guy that I would not mind at all. Let me just look at his measurements real quick. Yeah, 6'5", 310. Come on. I mean, what are we talking about here? I killed it. And just killed at the combine. So here we go. Tampa Bay back on the clock. Um, they love to play, they love to go in the trenches, so we're definitely going to go ahead and give them edge help here. Nick Scorton's still on the board, so we're gonna go ahead and take him for the Buccaneers. Okay, Atlanta, they moved back. There's a couple places they can go. I think they want to fix their defense. Their defense is atrocious, if we're being honest. And corner is still here. Trey Amos is still here. Ben Morrison, I don't know why people have Ben Morrison falling this far. That's insane to me. Jedi Barron did kill it, but he's a slot corner. I don't know. I don't know how far. I don't know how much, that's gonna help him or not. I still have Benjamin Morrison as my corner too. Again, I don't list Travis Hunter as a corner or a receiver. I list him as an athlete or a weapon. So for me, it's Will Johnson, corner one. I still have Ben Morrison, corner two. For me, so I'm gonna go ahead and take him here for the Falcons. Um, for the Vikings, I think I am gonna take Ashton Genty. Uh, Again, I didn't anticipate him falling this far, and I don't. In a perfect world, he's not gonna be here at 24. So I think I just gotta have to take him here. Um, and then here we go for the Texans. Take a Buka. Take a Buka. You know, play with CJ Stroud. They need receiver help. I think it's a no-brainer to me. You go ahead and take him. Okay, here with the Rams at 26. Again, Jadae Barron's still here. The tight ends are still here. Matthew Stafford came back. So do you take Tyler Warren here? I mean, yeah, Matthew Stafford coming back. Do you just go ahead and take Tyler Warren? I think you got to consider it. Matter of fact, they're in a really good spot. I'm gonna do something that's gonna piss people off, but I don't care. Oh my, this keeps getting stuck. I'm gonna have the Chiefs trade up. Again, this isn't gonna cost them much at all. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And we are going to they need offensive line help bad. Calvin Banks is still here on the board. I think you got to do it. But Bo is still here on the board too. Would they take Bo here? 6'5", 300. Banks, again, I think the problem, 6'4", 320. I think the problem with Banks is, do you think he can be? I think I'm gonna take Bo. I think I'm gonna take Bo only because if you're the Chiefs, you need to get a guy that you truly believe can play tackle. And I think the issue, but I don't know. Think you gotta take Calvin Banks here over Bo. What I was gonna say is Calvin Banks a little bit more. What I was gonna say is if you're the Chiefs and maybe you just take a veteran, I think the Chiefs should take the veterans. I guess the point I'm making. They have not proven that they could develop offensive line t talent, and they need to fix that offensive line. And so maybe they go ahead and just get a veteran instead of drafting a guy. Maybe they do that instead of taking. Yeah, so now maybe they go ahead and take Tyler Warren. Travis Kelce just said he's going to come back, but let's be real, they can't keep doing this song and dance every year with him retiring, not retiring. Not to mention, he just wasn't as good last year. You know what I mean? Like he's starting to decline. So why not get a superstar weapon to replace him? Okay, this is where I think I will take Jadae Barron for the Ravens. I hate it. I had them take Malachi Starks last time and I hated it. I'm gonna have them take Jadae Barron here and I'm gonna hate it. Uh, the Lions. You know what? I keep saying that Tyler Booker performed his way into the first round, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, Denver. They traded down Luther Burden still here. I'm not a big Luther Burden guy, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a big Luther Burden guy, and he didn't run as fast as we thought he was gonna run. He didn't run slow, but he's not as fast as we thought he was. So you do have Malachi Starks here. What other receivers are here? You do have Trey Harris here. Do you just take Colston Loveland here? You traded back to 29. Yeah, I think you just take Colston Loveland here. You traded back to 29. Why not? Okay, this is where Walter Nolan absolutely needs to get drafted. We're taking Walter Nolan. Okay, the Rams, they traded back, and now you traded back because everything that you wanted, you knew somebody was still going to be here. Again, I think Bo performed himself into maybe a top 10, maybe, well, you know what? The Browns are here. They got back-to-back picks, so it doesn't matter. We go ahead and take Bo here, and the Browns are gonna go ahead and take Calvin Banks. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take Calvin Banks here. All right, so then with the first pick in the second round, I'm not gonna have them take a quarterback here. Again, in this scenario, they traded Miles Garrett, and they probably traded one of, if not both of their corners. So they're probably just looking at this as we're starting over. We just need to get through this season, get one more year away from Deshaun Watson, so it's easier to get rid of him, and we'll go all in for a quarterback in next year's draft class, which is supposed to be much better. So right now, with the four remaining picks that we have, we're going to just continue to build this roster up and get cheaper so that next year we can really get some things going. Um, where are they picking at 67? They got a tackle and they took Abdul Carter. They could take a corner. There's still a lot of corners on the board, and there won't be one by 67. So we might trade up. We might trade back up later to get a corner. But let's see the running back class. Junkins did well. Travion Henderson did well. They're from Ohio State. RJ Harvey did well. Uh, yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take Junkins here. Okay, the Giants, they got their quarterback. Luther Burden's here. Luther Burden is here. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Luther Burden, especially as a Steeler fan. He's so funny. To me, when I watch Luther Burden, he is legitimately Deontay Johnson in every single way, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And matter of fact, the ugly is more of the ugly side of George Pickens. I saw some, I saw some games where he's just doing ridiculous stuff and getting personal foul penalties like on back-to-back plays and stuff like that. Um, again, not as fast as we thought he was going to run. When I watched his tape, yeah, he makes guys miss, but he also does that Deontay Johnson thing. Or sometimes he runs sideways and backwards too much, and he loses yards. So for me, he might be a better version of Deontay Johnson, but and Deontay Johnson's a good player. He was a Pro Bowler, like you know what I mean. But like at the same time, I'm just like, eh. Malachi Starks is here. I kind of want to do that, but this is their last pick of this three-round mock. Do I want to take that on as a safety? Hello is still here. I have Cam Ward, and I have Malik Neighbors, and I have What's the running back's name? The running back for his name. Do I just go get a wide receiver? And I don't need to get Luther Burden because I already have Malik Neighbors. I would get a bigger body receiver. Do I go get a receiver and just try to have a phenomenal offense? I think I do. I think I do. I think I do. I think I do. And Jaden Higgins, I may had a good IL Maynor had a good combine as well, but I think Jaden Higgins had an even better one. Nobody had a better one than Jalen Noel. But he's more of a slot only guy. So if they want that second boundary receiver, because Jalen Hyatt hasn't really panned out for them yet. Let's do Jaden Higgins. Okay. It's so funny. I literally wrote down two different Jags picks and I sniped both of them. Okay. Tennessee, they got Travis, right? Yeah. Okay. Tennessee, they need edge help. They already said they're gonna trade the edge rusher they got already. So we might have to go edge here. Uh Michael Williams is still on the board too. Yeah, we might have to do that actually. Let's do Michael Williams. The Jags. Okay. They were supposed to take Membu, but I had somebody else take Membu. But then they don't know what Will Campbell, so that's fine. They were supposed to take Jared Wilson, but I had Seattle take Jared Wilson. Which again is fine. They're taking Will Campbell and literally just putting him at guard. So I actually love that for them. Um, Last time I had them take T-Mac, I really do like the idea of them taking like getting one of these big tall wide receivers that their offensive coordinator is used to having Mike Evans. And they already have Brian Thomas. Do you just take Alec Eilmaner? I think you do. I think you do. I know this isn't the greatest inside class. No, this isn't the greatest inside class, so it's like, but maybe, but maybe you get your center in free agency. Yeah, let's do that. Let's take Eric Allen and really give this offense some juice. Okay, the Raiders, the Raiders, the Raiders, the Raiders. They have Matthew Golden. I love that. Uh, they can also take a running back. And Travion Henderson is still here. Caleb Johnson is still here. RJ Harvey is still here. DJ Giddens had a fantastic combine. I don't think that makes him an early second rounder though. RJ Harvey might be in that conversation though. After what he did. Caleb Johnson, Travion Henderson still in the mix there. Uh A lot of people have Caleb Johnson falling after the combine. They still have 68 and 73 though. So you know what? Yeah, let me go ahead and take a corner and get Trey Amos. Maxwell Harrison had a fantastic. Hmm. He ran really fast. I'm gonna go ahead and no, but Pete Carroll likes taller corners though. Yeah, he likes his taller corners. So Maxwell Harrison is not he's 6'1", but he's only 186. He would take like a Darren Porter actually. That's the type of guy he would want. Or Azari Thomas, 6'2", 198. Yeah, I'm gonna do that actually. That's a Pete Carroll pick right there. Okay, the Patriots. I think this is where you could see Luther Burden. They got Membu. Oh, they Missouri back to back. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I honestly don't hate that. Let's do it. Luther Burden. You think about the Patriot way. You think about Vrabel. He could probably get this guy head straight, head in line. Give Drake May another receiver to work with. I don't hate that at all. Okay, Chicago. They got Greg Zabel. Love that. He would be playing center for them. So now they need a guard, but they also can get a running back. But they have another pick. Yeah, and the Saints aren't going to take a running back. So let's not do that. Let's go ahead and finish this offensive line. That's what we need. We need a guard. And so I'm going to go ahead and take Donovan Jackson and see if he can play guard for me. 6'4", 320, a little bit tall for a guard. But Jonas Savea, wait a minute, 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 wait a minute. He's even bigger. Actually, I kind of like that. I'm gonna go with Donovan Jackson. I am a big believer. If you play in a cold weather city, you probably want to get people that have played in cold weather. I know that's kind of silly, but like at the same time, when you play outside in the elements, it does help to get a guy that you know can play outside in the elements. Um, Even though, it's just tackle, but still. So Donovan Jackson to play guard for them. All right. The Saints, they went and got an edge, correct? They did. They did. Um, they also could go wide receiver here. They go wide receiver. Where they pick at 71 next. Mm, the wide receivers that they need might be gone because they need like a big boundary receiver. Yeah, this is a great defensive line class. Actually, you know what? No, I'm tripping. I'm tripping. Darius Alexander killed it. Killed it at the combine. Yep. Okay. And now Chicago at 41. Now they can think they got their offensive line. Now they can really think about taking a running back. Um, just want to check, just want to check, just want to check. This is a fantastic running back class. You could wait. You could easily wait till 72 for a running back if you want one. But I do think in Ben Johnson's system, he's gonna want to make sure he gets an elite running back. So even though people are saying Caleb Johnson is falling, I'm gonna still take Caleb Johnson here. To me, he's the next best running back in the class. Okay, the Jets. Oh shoot, Shador Sanders is still on the board. I never really thought about that. And at 42, that's a steal. We're gonna take Shador Sanders. Uh, Again, when you don't compete, you're out of sight, out of mind. Even for a mock draft, I totally forgot Shador Sanders was still on the board. My bad. Totally forgot. My apologies. My apologies. Shador Sanders still on the board. We gotta take him. Okay. Uh San Francisco. They got their tackle. They need a guard. They need some defensive line. Malachi Starks is still on the board, though. I gotta get somebody to take Malachi Starks. Gotta get somebody to take Malachi Starks. He should not be falling this far. Um, but San Francisco. Mm. Yeah, see, the interior line at this point is just not that good, man. But you still have all these tackles that you can probably plug and play there. Um, yeah, and this is where I will take Jonas. Yeah. Okay. Which sucks for the Cowboys. Zach Martin retired before the combine. Before I had this idea for NFC East being aggressive, Greg Zabel was going to be the pick for the Cowboys. Zach Martin retired. They need to fix that up. They now have a desperate need at offensive line. But they got T-Mac, which is awesome. There's still some decent tackles on the board here. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Um, I think I will go Trapillo here. I think I will go Trapillo here. He had a pretty decent day. 6'8", 309. Good Lord. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Trapillo here. Cam Williams is a right tackle though, right? Right tackle. I think they need left side. I think. I think. Is there a way to uh, show it? I'm just gonna go ahead and take Trapillo here. My mom's another one. Yeah, he's a left tackle. Okay. Okay. He's another one that people kind of feel like might have to shift to guard, but Victor Pillow's a right tackle. Okay, see, that's what I wanted to check. And Ken Williams is definitely right tackle, correct? Yeah. Okay, so we'll go mine. Just wanted to make sure. I'm pretty sure they need left tackle and left guard help, I think. If not, Cowboys fans just switch it with the other two that are on the right side. Make sense? Okay, cool. Great. Glad we had that talk. Okay, the Colts in the second round, they took Nick Omarari in the first. And so here in the second, I kind of like Elijah Royal here. I kind of like that a lot, actually. I kind of liked it a lot, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. All right, the Falcons, they traded down and got Ben Morrison. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. And Jahad Campbell's right here, so we're gonna go ahead and take that. He probably should go in the first round as well. Okay, the Cardinals took Mike Green. We could continue to work that defensive line. With Tylee Williams still on the board here, as well as Shamar Turner. Tylee Williams had a really good week. Yeah, that's the thing, bro. That's the thing. Some of these names are falling. When I tell you there were so many players that killed it at the draft, like I was telling my dad, like as a Steelers fan, like I'm happy because there's gonna be some good players that fall because a lot of players at the positions that we need, like just killed it. Like the receivers killed it. Like specifically the players that we were specifically looking at, they killed it. The defensive interior class killed it. Wide receiver class killed it. Running backs killed it. All these positions killed it. Where you're going to, I'm telling you, you're going to see great players fall. Um, because of it. Because it's one of those things like you can't make up more draft picks. You know what I mean? Like Tally Williams probably could be a first rounder after his performance, but there's only 32 draft picks, and there's only so many teams that need defensive line and other things. Like people are gonna fall. People are gonna fall. Malachi Starks is only falling because again, like it's safety is one of those weird positions, right? It's hard to really. I feel, I feel like if you're the Dolphins, don't you kind of have to take him here? And I think I am. I think I'm going to take him here. Like, he can't keep falling. Okay, Bengals. They took Kenneth Grant. I love that. Um, they need offensive line help in the worst way. In the worst way. And I think this is where you take Shapiro, boom. Uh, Seahawks, they also need offensive line help in the worst way. Again, I think you can take Cam Williams and put him in at guard. And that's what we're gonna do. The Buccaneers took Nick Scorton and Jalen Walker. Again, another guy that should be a first rounder is sitting right here. Denver, they traded back and took Colston Loveland. Do I want them to trade back again? Demetrius Knight is here though. Demetrius Knight is here though. Okay, Steelers. We could double dip at defensive interior, and I would not be the least bit upset about that. Siobhan Ravel is still here. I would not hate that either. Alfred Collins is still here. If we double dipped at defensive interior here, I would not be the least bit mad about that. You're saying Buffalo wants to trade up. Why is Buffalo trading up? Let me just see. What do they need? They need corner. They need corner. They need linebacker. What linebackers are left? Russian Swiniger did have a. Hmm. There's plenty of corner left. We need a corner though, to be honest with you. We should just stay and take a corner. TBH. We should just stay and take a corner. I'm gonna trade down. And I'm gonna trade down because I want to try something later. Probably only going to give us 126, which is fine. Yeah, it's too much. Yes, 126. Okay. All right. So they are trading up because they want to fix their offensive line as well. And so Charles Grant makes sense. Anthony Belton makes sense. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Tate Ratledge makes sense, and that's who I'm probably going to take. Okay. All right. The Chargers. The Chargers. They took Amari Hampton. Okay. And they need edge help. They're probably going to let Khalil Mack leave in free agency. Uh, we still have pick 86. Yeah, let's go ahead and take that. Okay, they traded up to get Will Johnson. I love that pick for them, actually. Wow, I love that pick for them. Um, okay. They are another team that likes to take a receiver in the second round and not the first. They, matter of fact, they are allergic to taking receivers in the first round. Um, but they just watched another good edge player come off the board. They might want to go ahead and take one themselves. And Jordan Birch definitely showed out. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Jordan Birch. Okay. Buffalo, they got Walter Nolan. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Uh, Swinger's still here. Chris Paul's still here. They could probably wait on a linebacker. I'm not gonna make them reach for a linebacker. Corners are still here though. A lot of corners are still here. Like a lot of corners are still here. Uh, Trey Amos is still here. Shavon Rev, Darian Porter. I like Ravel myself. He was my corner three. I know he got hurt, so he didn't really get a chance to prove himself as much this year. But and maybe it's just me still sad that we didn't get Quinyon Mitchell. Um, I think he's that good, so I'm gonna take him. The Steelers are back on the clock. We just saw Siobhan Ravel, who I wanted, come off the board. We thought we can trade back and still get him. We did not, but Trey Amos is still here. If you want to switch those picks, you can go ahead and switch those picks. So we went ahead and got Trey Amos. Okay, we got James Pierce. TJ Sanders is still here at 30 at 58, and we're gonna go ahead and do that. Get our um defensive line done. Okay, the Ravens, they took Jade Barron, and I hate this. Xavier Watt is here. Do you pair him up with Kyle Hamilton, who also went to Notre Dame? Zach Best is here though, with sure hands. I think after everything that happened with him, I think they're gonna want that. So let's get them Zach Best. Okay, the Lions. The Lions. Got Tyler Booker. That's good. Uh, what's stopping you from doing? What is stopping you from implementing the Eagles thought process of let's just completely have the most ridiculous defensive line. Like I kind of want to do Shamar Turner here. I know they could do Princely. Like I mean, it's the same thing, but I kind of want to give them Shamar Turner and just have them say, let's just have the most ridiculous defensive line. I don't like that. They specifically do need edge help though, so I'm gonna do that first, and then if there's another disgusting defensive interior still there, maybe have them do that. Okay, Washington, they went and they traded up to get Ursery to fix their offensive line. They can get some edge help. Maxwell Harrison's still here. Again, do we get greedy and get another wide receiver though? Jalen Knowles still here. Remember how I said you could combat the Eagles by just having a stupid offense? And Jalen O might have had the best combine performance of anybody in over the weekend. He might have improved his stock the most. And I think that reflects that if this is updated, he was not at the 82 mark before. I promise you, he was not. If this is updated, because I know you're probably saying, well, he only moved up 20 spots. How could he have had the best weekend? If this is updated, because I don't think he was ranked 82 before. I think this might be updated. And he could have went higher, by the way. The Panthers could have taken him here. Uh, the Broncos could have taken him. The Cowboys could have taken him. I think I'm gonna do it. Washington again, go all in. I love that you got a young quarterback, rookie deal. Let's go all the way in. I love it. Okay, the Bills, they are here, and they took Walter Nolan, Siobhan Ravel. First of all, this board is falling beautifully for them, and I mean beautifully for them. And I sincerely mean beautifully for them. Again, what's stopping you from just getting a nasty freaking line? Walter Nolan and Shamar Turner? You saw how that, yeah, I think what you saw what the Eagles did, right? You cannot get past the Chiefs. You know you can score. Keon Coleman was a rookie. Give him another year. Oh my God, I love this. Shamar Turner and Walter Nolan along that defensive line with Siobhan Ravel. Holy crap. I know everybody in Kansas City is sitting there saying, oh my God. Okay, we got Tyler Warren. They also need defensive line help. Alfred Collins is here. Braden Swinson is here. JT Tuimoloau is here. Xavier Strepo is here too. Damn. Again, good players, bro. I'm trying to tell you, people are going. Day two of this draft is going to be so interesting. People are going to be feasting day two, bro. I'm telling you, day two is going to be something disgusting. What do I want to do for? Again, I'm assuming they got Tyler. I'm assuming they're gonna get a tackle in free agency, either trade or signing one. Otherwise, I would have had them take a tackle round one. Alfred Collins. Yeah, I like it. Let's do it. Okay, the Eagles, they have Myles Garrett, and this is their first pick. So Edge is done. I did An Eagles fan yelled at me for getting them a slot receiver last time, but Xavier Strepo is here at 64. But I literally got yelled at last time for doing that. Or getting them a slot. I don't know if it was Strepo, but or Restrepo, I'm sorry. But an Eagles fan yelled at me for doing that. I think the quote was, "I'm a moron." I think. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. This is any corner. Why do they need corner? They got nothing but corners. Or unless somebody's leaving in free agency. Again, I don't like the guards here. I don't want to reach. Like, no. I don't like the guards at this stage. And even at the tackle position, I could go Charles Grant. You could go Charles Grant. All right, that Eagles fan is gonna have to get over it. I think this makes sense. You take Strepo. Or Strepo, I'm sorry. I keep saying that. How do you not? You could take Tez. I mean, you already got Devontae Smith. I don't know if you want two lightweights and bank on them both being the exception and not the rule. You trade down? You could trade down. You could trade down. Do the Panthers want to trade up? See. You only got to give up 141. Let me see. And you could do it with 140. You could get away for doing it for 147. I think you do that. Okay. And then you go ahead. You could take Xavier White here, by the way, over Restrepo. If you're the Panthers, you could take Xavier Watts here over Restrepo. You could also take a corner. You do need a corner. You got Pierce and you got TJ Sanders. So your defensive line is good for now. You obviously could use another edge, but again, this is you're not going to get everything you need in the 3 round mock. You could take Xavier Watts here and really tear some you know what up. And like I've been saying, their defense is actually defensive back based actually. Like they want their back end to be good. But Darian Porter's here and so is Maxwell Harrison. I think you go. How do you pass up on Xavier? I don't think I could pass up on Xavier Watts. Take Xavier Watts. Okay. Tennessee, 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 Tennessee. They got Travis Hunter. They got Michael Williams. Um. Oh shoot, Jackson Dart is still on the board. I've been disrespecting these quarterback as I should. I don't want to hear this hype. I hate when we do this. This draft class has been before the year started. We knew this draft class wasn't good for quarterbacks. Nothing has happened for me to think otherwise. So yeah, sure. First pick in the third round, go ahead and take Jackson Dart. I guess. I guess. Kansas City is back on the board. Again, what's stopping them from also implementing just a disgusting defensive line? I'll go Carson here, though. I'll go Carson. Unless they want to trade back and get, well, a trade back here, they're not going to get another pick. And in this round, at least, I should say. Yeah, let's just go Carson. Okay, the Browns. Abdul Carter, Kevin Bank, Quinshawn Junkins, pretty good. Pretty good. And Maxwell Harrison's still here. Psh, look at that. Look at God. Okay, the Raiders. Matthew Golden, Azariah Thomas. They got Aaron Rodgers in this scenario, so they don't need a quarterback. They still have not gotten their running back though. They still not have gotten their running back though, and that is going to change. I'm going to showcase RJ Harvey here and give him RJ Harvey. I was supposed to take him somewhere in a second. I did not. I didn't do that many trades. That's on me. Okay, the Patriots got Luther, but they went Missouri for both of theirs. Is there any more Missouri players that we can draft today for them? Um, they got their wide receiver and they got their tackle of the future. They also need a running back. And you know what? Because I've been disrespecting, maybe we do need to have a run on running backs. And again, DJ Giddens had a phenomenal day. 6'1", 212. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Boom. Okay. 70 for the Jaguars. They got their guard of the future in Will Campbell. They got Eric Alamaner as a weapon X for them. Braden Swenson's still here. I love that for them. Let's do that. The Saints, Shamar Stewart, Darius Alexander. They need a receiver, and they need a receiver bad. Again, I just don't like most of the guys that are available for them. But I do like Trey Harris though, actually. That's a great pick for them. Okay. Chicago, they've been busy. They got their offensive line together and they got their running back. They're moving and grooving here. They can go edge. JT Tumalau's still here. Who else is still here? Josiah Stewart is still here. A lot of edges are actually still here. Let's go JT Tumalau. Raiders back on the clock. Uh, got their receiver, got their corner, got their running back. QB is already taken care of with Aaron Rodgers. I do think Landon Jackson here makes a lot of sense actually. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, the Eagles, they traded back. And again, Restrepo's still here. I don't know how you don't take Restrepo. I think you go ahead and do that. Okay, the 49ers are on the clock and they got their offensive line down packed. Now they need to focus on defense. And so we are going to get them edge help. Jared Ivey is still here. Again, Josiah Stewart had a pretty decent combine, so let's highlight him. The Jets, they got Mason Graham and Shador Sanders. Um, they're probably gonna lose DJ Reader in free agency. So let's go ahead and take Darian Porter. The Patriots still on the board. They're killing it. Their offense looks good. Their offense looks good. Looks really good. We can go ahead. And you know what? I think I will double dip on the offensive line. Protect your young quarterback, bro. Charles Grant is still here. Anthony Belton is still here. Yeah, Charles Grant. Let's go Charles Grant. Arizona killing it with the defensive line. They need some offensive line help as well. Boom. All right, the Broncos. I don't think we ever got them a receiver. I think we have to get them a receiver. They have two picks still. Uh, they have two picks still. Sebastian Castro's still here. Aaron McCuba's still here. Kevin Winston Jr. is still here. Chris Paul's still here. Did I get them a receiver yet? No, I did not. I got them a linebacker already. Okay. Okay. I want to get them Tez Johnson. I just think it's too early. I think it's still too early. He had a he weighed at 154, bro. And then he run like a 4.5. You know what I mean? Like I just yeah, I can't draft him Tez Johnson yet. I would love to do it later in a later round, but not now. But Ty Felton had a good he had a pretty good combine. He probably moved up a lot actually. So yeah, let's get him Ty Felton. Okay. I at this point, yeah, they read my mind. I wanted to trade up with the Steelers. I wanted to trade up with the Steelers. Uh, Decent compensation. All right. Here's where I'm going to go ahead and take I think I might take Torrey Holton here. That wide receiver, 6'3", 185. He's a little slight, but like he's pretty good. Um, I could double dip at defensive interior, which isn't a bad shout. Dante Thornton Jr. had a great day though. 6'5", two. I think he measured more at 205, so still pretty skinny, but like ran really fast. Really fast. And it might be one of those things where like now you have just two deep threats at the position, but I don't mind that. The way we want to run our offense, we're going to be run first. We know that, right? We know we're going to be run first. And I think the play action game is going to be like the tight ends over the middle, and then George Pickens and Thornton just screaming downfield. And it keeps your safeties back because you have to account for both of them. They're both big, tall receivers that give. But I could probably get, but no, Pat Bryant's more like a big possession receiver. I about to say I could always get Pat Bryant later. And I might still, if this was like a full 7 round mock, I still might get Pat Bryant later. All right, the pick might be Dante Thornton, but let me just see something real quick, real quick, real quick, real quick, real quick. There's Norman Lott still here. We got Derek Harmon, we got Trey Amos. Really, would I be greedy here, or would y'all call me a homer if I take Norman Lott here and then trade back into the third round later on? I want the Steelers to be aggressive, dude. Like I really do. Okay, here's how we're gonna do this. I shouldn't have taken Trey Amos because I really think we're gonna throw a bag at DJ Reed. But let's just say in this scenario we don't. That's why we took Trey Amos. So then who do we spend our money on? Because if we didn't spend it on defensive line and we didn't spend it on corner and we didn't spend it on T. Higgins because I would have had the Bengals draft a receiver already. Who do we spend our money on? We got 60 plus $1 million in the bank. Who did we spend our money on? It had to have been. Is there another receiver that we could have possibly spent money on? No. I already had Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers go to the Raiders. You know what? I'm gonna do it. If in this scenario, the way it's looking, if we didn't spend money, then we have to be aggressive in the draft. If we didn't spend money, then we have to be aggressive in the draft. If you're telling me we did not spend money, if you're telling me we didn't spend money, we have to be if you're telling me we didn't spend money, we have to be aggressive in the draft. Because ideally, this should have been a receiver or maybe even a running back. But if this is a corner, that means we didn't spend the money that we needed to spend. And it couldn't have been a receiver because there's no receivers available. Debo's already been traded. We're not doing the Brandon Ayuk thing anymore. Like there's no way putting ourselves through that again. In this scenario, T. Higgins has been franchise tagged and stayed there. In this scenario, Devontae Adams went to the Raiders with Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and that's in this scenario, that means we have to be aggressive. We have to be aggressive and trade back into this third round and get either a receiver or a running back. We have to be aggressive. We double dipped that defensive interior, which I'm not mad at all. We kind of need to do that. Okay. Seattle. All right, they got their offensive line together, and now they can use edge. I like Jared Ivy here. Tampa, a lot of corners still on the board. Uh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think. I messed up that second round for the Steelers because in my mind they would have had to have spent that money on DJ Reed. I mean, they still could do that actually and double up at corner. It's not like we couldn't use the extra depth and maybe try Trey Harris at slot corner. But if we needed a slot, we would have just taken Maxwell Harris. I'm pretty sure he was still on the board at the time. Anyway, the Colts. Um, trying to think. I know there was somebody else that did well at the combine. Was it Kobe Bryant or was it Parrish? One of them did really well. I think it was Kobe Bryant. Or it might have been Strong. Well, let's just go edge and just be safe. I don't want to reach on a player that's not the right player. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and do Kyle Kennard. By the way, did I get everybody that I wanted to get? I sure did. I sure did. I sure did. Okay, cool. Okay, just want to make sure. All right, the Chargers. Amari Hampton, I don't know. They have not gotten that. Oops, their tight end yet, and there's still some good ones. Shout out, by the way, shout out Gunnar Helm. Twisted his ankle, still did all the drills. Mason Taylor did a great job. Oh man, I should have had him go earlier, huh? I should have had him go. I mean, they would probably take Terrence Ferguson only because I'm sure Herbert would want a Oregon Duck. But Mason Taylor did a phenomenal job at the combine for the tight end. The tight ends was like one of the one classes that were kind of disappointing. But yeah. Okay, the Falcons. I didn't get them edge yet. Yeah, they need edge bad. They need edge bad. I shouldn't ooh, they need edge bad. Mm. Ooh, I kind of don't like that for them. Ooh, I know Falcons fans are probably gonna kill me in the. Ooh, I know Falcons fans are probably gonna kill me in the. Yikes! Probably gonna kill me in the comment section. Ooh, sorry. They need edge bad. That should have been a priority. Okay, Jacksonville did really good. They got damn near everything they need. Um, they got two LSU guys. They got a wide receiver. Um, they can still use a corner, but like, corners are kind of cooked at this point. Did they take a guard? Are they, are they, are we low enough now to take a guard? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, not a guard, a center. Seth McLaughlin out wouldn't be bad here, actually. Um, I'm gonna hate that, honestly. Well, we'll trade back with them. They're not in a good spot, to be honest with you. I mean, they could take Jordan Phillips here, actually. Yeah, let's take Jordan Phillips. Let's do that. Okay. All right, Houston back on the clock. They also need defensive interior. And luckily for them, this class just has them to spare. I think we will take Deion Walker here and be good. Okay, how many picks are left? Again, I really think the Steelers, there's still a couple of picks. There's still, I really think the Steelers should trade back in, to be honest with you. Um, the Rams they have three third round picks. Oh, all right, yeah, we're trading back with the Rams then, because they can trade out of the third round if they need to. I think you probably got to get both of them, right? I know we don't have any seventh round picks now, and this is our fifth rounder, fourth rounder that we're trading away, and this will be our. Do we have what do you have? Two fifths? I don't remember. I know we don't have a sixth, so yeah, these are like two fifths, and this is our, and this is I don't know. Point is, we're back on the clock. Like I said, I really do think we had to be aggressive. If that's what we did, if we didn't spend any money, that means we have to be aggressive as heck in the draft. And with that being said, now we have to take either a receiver or a running back. Cam Scatterbo, I'm having him drop right now because he didn't participate that much. Or actually, I think he didn't run. So again. Travion Henderson had a great, but he's more of like a speedster, and we kind of already have that with Jalen Warren. And I think they already said they're gonna bring him back. So they're gonna want like a every down back, which is more of a Dylan Sampson type. Yeah, I could get Pat Bryant later as a big possession type receiver, 6'3", 200. He's not going to be a downfield threat, but we don't necessarily need that. We need more of like a big bodied possession receiver. So yeah, this would be my pick later on. So yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and take a running back here. I think I'm going to take Dylan Sampson. Okay. The Ravens are killing my soul because they're, oh, they went Jack Batch. Okay. Okay. That's not killing my soul as much. That's not killing my soul as much. Um, use edge help. Okay, there's definitely some edges left on the board. Definitely some edges back left on the board. Yeah. Okay, the Jets. Wow, they had a pretty good draft. Mason Graham traded back and got Mason Graham, which is insane. Shador Sanders fell into their lap. Darian Porter fell into their lap. Good Lord. They've had a great draft. What? They've had a great draft. And Makuba's still here. Oh my God. This is a great draft for the Dagon Jets. Okay. Washington, they traded with Washington. The Saints. Great draft for them too. Shamar Stewart, Darius Alexander, Trey Harris. And they need a tight end, and there's tight ends still available. Harold Fanning is still here. Gunnar Helm is still here. Terrence Ferguson is still here. I kind of like Fanning better. So I'm gonna take Fanning. The Browns loading up. They got Abdul Carter, they got Kelvin Banks, they got Quinshon Junction, Maxwell Harrison. I kind of do want to get them another receiver, actually. Isaiah Bond is still here. Let's take Isaiah Bond. Okay, the Rams got two more picks. They got Marcus Bowe. They need a tight end as well, so we're gonna take Terrence Ferguson. The Browns right back on the clock again, loading up for when they get their quarterback next season. Um, they got their running back, they got a tackle, they got a corner, they even got a receiver. Do we go get Travion Henderson and get both of them mugs in there? I kind of like that. Let's do that. Okay. Minnesota, they have Ashton. They need a corner. They need a corner bad. I probably should have had them traded, but they didn't have. They just didn't have that many picks, though. They just didn't have that many picks. Um, which is probably why you go corner in the first round because you knew you could have gotten a running back later. But Ashton Genty was sitting there. How do you not say yes to Ashton Genty? Um, Dorian Strong is still here though. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, Dolphins. They have a tackle who could be flexible for them. They got Malachi Starks. They got Joshua Farmer. Chris Paul is sitting here. I kind of like that for them as well. Do they double up an offensive line? You could go, yeah, no, we could do Brandon here. That's not bad. That's not a bad shout. Okay, is this the last pick? No, we still got three more. Okay, the Niners clean up their offensive line and they got some edge help. Let's continue to work on that defensive line. Is there anybody? I just want to make sure I'm not overlooking people. Narius Peoples was interesting. He kind of was he the one that kind of was getting beat during Senior Bowl? I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't think that was him. So let's go ahead and take Peoples. Okay, the Rams back on the clock. They got their tackle, the future. They got Chris Paul's perfect. There you go. And then Detroit. They also need a linebacker, so that kind of hurt that Chris Paul just got off the board. Is there another linebacker still here waiting for them? Oh, Boss is still here. So is Kaiser. Danny Stutzman had a pretty good combine as well. That wouldn't be the worst in the Let's just see who best player available is. Hold on. Okay, they could take Bassa. So let's just go ahead and take Bassa. And that is the draft. All right. 3 rounds post combine. I know it's a little helter skelter here because I try to do what I might do next time is if I'm going to do notes, I got to do hard on the notes, pause so that it's more organized. Um, Either way, I knew by the third round, I wasn't gonna have that many notes. Because you kind of got to let it play itself out. There are some players I wanted to take in the third round, but again, the way the board kind of fell, it just didn't make sense to force some of those players. Um, and actually, it was kind of fun doing it that way because, like I said, I took notes on some players that I definitely wanted to try to highlight, and I was able to do that. Like Dante Thornton, like I said, I highlighted him. He's a guy that when I had the Steelers trade back up, I highly considered taking him. Actually twice, right? And I think I wound up taking two Tennessee guys, just not the Tennessee wide receiver. Um, but yeah, like I said, I wanted to make sure I did a NFC East power trip, right, where everybody in the NFC East makes at least one trade to try to get better. I knew I wanted to do a lot of shakeups in the top 10 based on the combine, which I was able to do. Like I said, Membu becoming tackle one, Golden becoming wide receiver one, James Pierce solidifying himself as edge two. What else happened here? Josh Connolly basically getting into the top 10. Greg Zabel putting himself in the top 15. Um, Kenneth Grant moving up the board as in defensive interior two. Because he had a really good matter of fact, he did better than Mason Graham, but Mason Graham wasn't gonna fall too far down. I knew that already. But yeah, so like I said, most of my notes were for round one. That was where the biggest shakeups were going to happen. Um, and then you see it again when a guy like Kenneth Grant does really well, a guy like Walter Nolan falls when he probably shouldn't fall. Uh, when a guy like Greg Zabel moves up, you get things like Ashton Genty falling down. You know what I mean? Like, because the Bears are one of those teams that could have taken an Ashton Genty. So like that's literally how this stuff happens. So that was the whole point of this, where you see the fallout from how the combine went and how these prospects can drastically change not only their stocks but everybody else's stocks. So yeah, a really fun experiment. Free agency is next. That starts Thursday, I believe. So we'll get some major shakeups for the next one. So I'm very excited about that. All right. But you can find me at Never Forget Me. That's NEVA underscore the number four BRETT underscore ME on all the socials. We are the underscore dope blog on Instagram and Threads. The dope blog, all one word on Twitter. And the dope dot blog is our website. And because you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe and join us next time as we continue to discuss other people's excellence. Deuces.